In Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Monty is known for being super aggressive and the one who allegedly killed Bonnie. But not all is as it seems. Is he really this super aggressive monster? Has he always been like this? Well, the truth on this is far darker than it may seem. And after this video, you may completely see Monty in a different light. Because when we first see Monty, we're greeted with him completely destroying this room, crashing, banging, screaming even. And immediately we're thinking, hey, this guy isn't to be messed with. And it immediately paints this picture of a super aggressive animatronic. But if he was always like this, why would he be allowed around guests? Something isn't quite adding up here. Now we know Monty replaced Bonnie. Now whether it was because they couldn't find Bonnie, he was found destroyed, or something else entirely, which I'll get onto later, Fazbear Entertainment decided to simply replace him with Monty, who quickly became very popular with the guests. Now if Monty was always super aggressive, attacking things, surely we'd have reports of guests being harmed or maimed or some indication that the guests didn't like Monty, but it's the complete opposite. They loved him. And further to this, it's also worth pointing out that in the Storyteller from Tales from the Pizzaplex book, it actually says that Monty doesn't have a violent short temper. This totally contradicts what we see in Security Breach. So what the hell happened? Now before we see him in Security Breach, he did occasionally used to smash up his room. And this was because he wanted to uphold an image of himself. Just like the rock stars of the 70s, they would smash up hotels' room. It was very rock and roll. And this is what the image he wanted to portray. He wanted to portray he was a big, strong, powerful rock star, but was very cool. But on the inside was just as likable and lovable as Freddy. Hence why the guests loved him. But when we first see him smashing up the room, he's doing so extremely aggressively. Now we know one of the reasons why he's smashing up the room is because Freddy ruined that night's performance and he was already agitated. But to do so in such an aggressive fashion compared to what he used to be like, something's wrong here. Or is it? Or is he just simply an asshole? Well, one of the reasons could actually be that he was feeling inferior to Bonnie. Now, it's also worth pointing out that in the Ruin DLC, Glamrock Bonnie was shown to decide to pass on the torch to Monty, and that was the reason why he left the band. However, obviously, with the wrecked body of Glamrock Bonnie being found in one of the back rooms of Bonnie Brawl with claw marks on the torso, this is simply a cover story made by Fazbear Entertainment. Now, this is where people put two and two together.
So therefore, there is an additional two that no one talks about because the government...
Monty being super aggressive, Bonnie being replaced by Monty, Bonnie going missing in Monty Golf. People then think immediately Montgomery Gator killed Bonnie. But something changed, and this is where the story gets quite interesting. Because again, Monty was never super aggressive, so why would he have attacked and killed Bonnie? Especially with Bonnie's body being found with claw marks on it with green paint, you immediately think, oh, it's Monty. But it's worth noting here, however, that the only animatronic with claws that are painted green is Roxanna Wolf. Monty's claws are black, and he only got these claws after he became part of the band, meaning he would have had to have killed him with these claws after he joined the band. All of this isn't adding up. Are they doing our boy a dirty here? Especially as Monty's voice actor Cameron Miller revealed in a few things about his character in a Discord Q&A. He said that Monty was insecure, which supports his in-game anger issues, temper tantrums, and the fact that he didn't show up for a performance, and that Monty was jealous of Glamrock Bonnie.
I think that's part of his rage. I think he wants to be in the spotlight, but he's not. You know, I think he may have been a little jealous of Bonnie.
However, because he's not a Scott Cawthon or Steelwool employee, it's worth taking this with a pinch of salt. And in a later Q&A with Darko, Miller said that he didn't think Monty was jealous and that he doesn't believe that Monty killed Bonnie. All of this seemingly hints to Monty being completely misunderstood. Or does it? Because you see, things are not always as they seem. Because as we know, the staff actually set up specific grids designed to stop him from passing, which he can obviously break with ease. Now, if they did that, they are obviously worried about Monty going into places where he shouldn't. And why would they be worried about that if Monty was such a nice guy? Well, because the truth of the matter is, the stories of GGY and the Storyteller explain exactly how Monty was before he became aggressive. And he became aggressive aggressive gradually because he was hacked and reprogrammed by both the storyteller and Gregory to serve under Vanny, following her commands and becoming more hostile. Now, that wouldn't mean that he would go around killing animatronics, he just simply had his original traits inflated, much like Roxanne the Wolf and Chica. They were still very much operational, just their traits exaggerated. And what this would mean in a nutshell is that he would start wrecking everything around him, just like we see in his room. So that's why the staff would set up gates specifically to stop him from passing, so he wouldn't glitch out and suddenly start wrecking areas of the Pizzaplex. Although there's an entire argument to say that he would cause harm to other Glamrocks and people without being hacked, because in one of the levels of a golf minigame, Freddy is seen in the garbage while Monty, Chica and Roxanne are playing a show on stage, with Monty in the center and a giant Monty hologram behind him. And if that is true, that would make him the only Glamrock animatronic that is inherently evil and doesn't need to be hacked to cause any harm. And this is where things start to fall into place, my friends, and get extremely interesting. You see, he probably did kill Bonnie. He didn't kill Bonnie with the claws he'd got afterwards. He killed Bonnie out of rage and anger with his own original animatronic claws, attacking Bonnie so hard that the green paint at the end of his hands, the actual animatronic's shell, which is green, was hitting Bonnie's shell, causing the green marks. I mean, he was so jealous and built up with rage anyway, the virus probably just amplified that. He attacks and kills Bonnie. I mean, he's actually wearing Bonnie's signature glasses anyway. How else would he have got them? He took them off the body. I mean, the games even point to us getting his karma, because in the Ruined DLC, it features a Glamrock Bonnie cutout of him seemingly being about to fall and being sucked into Tornado Wave, with Monty ultimately being killed by a Glamrock Bonnie neon sign. And it all hints that Bonnie fell off the catwalks in the same way Monty did in the base game. And in Help Wanted 2, a minigame involving Bonnie Bowl occasionally plays a scene of a Monty bowling ball destroying a Bonnie bowling ball with a smug face. We also see in one of the security breach endings, Montgomery will be promoted to the new face of Fazbear Entertainment, and his old role, believe it or not, a hippo. This would actually mean then that he was deserving of his fate of being damaged and eventually killed, unlike Chica and Roxanne, who were brainwashed pawns. Throughout the game, we never see any evidence that he had any noble intentions whatsoever. But there is still this grey area of before the Pizzaplex in the books, where he was actually liked by the fans, was nice. Sure, he still had an element of the old school 70s rock, where he would trash up hotel rooms, but wouldn't go on a killing spree. And again, that is where we're wrong, because he killed Bonnie before all of this, remember? He didn't kill Bonnie after he became part of the band, he killed Bonnie before he was hacked, with his own bare hands, hitting him so hard his green shell was hitting Bonnie's. He did this for himself and is empathized in the Ruin DLC, as he is the only animatronic that Cassie doesn't feel no sympathy for. So his original jealousy and aggression were always there, although subtle.
This is you. This is your badness level. It's unusually high for someone your size.
He then gets hacked, it becomes amplified times 10, and that is why he becomes so aggressive. All his anger, all his jealousy comes to the surface. He then wants to take over the entire band, and not just Bonnie's place, he wants Freddy's too. And that, my friends, I believe crushes any good intentions from Monty. They didn't do our boy dirty, he was just deserving of everything he got. But if you feel different, please feel free to tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And this then begs the question, what about the other animatronics? If they were also hacked, then why do we hear Chica crying? Why is Roxanne Wolf seemingly hacked but then helps Cassie? The answers to all this are on my channel. Go and check out them videos. I'm Twisted, the Twisted Animatronic. Stay safe out there, superstars.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Twisted Animatronic is my superstar.